Alrighty then. Let's see how we're doing. Missed the lives for a while, haven't done a few in a bit. So I've got YouTubers over here and Facebookers over here. Let me adjust the camera. There's that one. And let's get YouTube comments working to all comments. Sweet. Hey, Deb, what's going on? Good to see you. What's going on? Give me a word, any word, and I'll show you how the root of that word is Greek. Alan sharing that from YouTube. What's going on, everybody? Hey, dude, what's up? How was your Easter? Hope everyone was doing well. Hello, Rod. Hello, Retro Sonia. Hello, Laura. Deblock Klinger. Hello, over on Facebook. YouTube, my camera's kind of far away. My eyes are straining. Hey, dude, what's going on? I got Marie Clayton saying hello. Sad about the Pope passing, without a doubt. Good evening from Georgia, watching the Braves game. Very cool. Best friend is a huge Braves fan. Hope everybody had a good Easter. Again, bad news. Whoa, that was loud. Not sure what that meant. How is the Facebook feed showing, guys? What's going on, Christine? It's saying that my FPS, my frames per second, is low. But I got a new camera, so that shouldn't be the case. It should be crystal clear. I'm also using a new mic, so that should be nice. Any update on the kiddos blanket? Dude, listen, we lost my father-in-law last week. It was expected. He was suffering. It was a blessing to see him pass. We are Christians. We're faithful. We miss him here. But all things being equal, realizing that he is, of course, in a better place. See if that'll stop the echoing. It was a tough week, and to top it off, the one time she needed something, people have said don't let kids take things that are important. That even at 13, Cleo's a very special kid, and things like that are the way that she really helps. If the sound's still distorted, Christine, let me know. I turned down the feed. So we let her take it, thinking that we'd keep an eye on it. We left super early in the morning. We got on the flight. I remember, why am I brown? This is the color I am. I remember seeing it in the car on her lap. She was using it to stay warm. We got on the plane. My wife thinks she saw it on the plane. And that's all she wrote. We got to Rochester. I don't remember anything about that. We got to the house and she looked for it later and it was just gone. Night beats the volume on my side turned down. I can do that. Turn the feed down. All right, the gain is at half now. What's going on, Angie from New Jersey? So part of it is the fact that she's had this thing since before she was born. There's very few things, touchstones in our lives that we have that long, and she treasured it. And somehow she lost it. And what's driving me nuts, and maybe this is a dad thing, maybe this is a Gen X thing, I can't figure out what happened, and it's driving me insane. If I knew she left it somewhere, let's say she left it on the plane, and I knew for a fact that's where it was, but they lost it on the plane, I could live with it. The fact that I don't know is driving me insane. So there's posts. Listen, at this point, I'd be willing to just replace it with the exact duplicate. Maybe keep my mouth shut about it forever. I am that kind of parent. She doesn't follow my YouTube or Facebook, and she's not in the house, so she won't see this. But it's like it's that we're not the Brady Bunch. This isn't Kitty Carryall. At least the Bradys were able to find the exact duplicate. I cannot find a duplicate. I can find ones that are close. Hey, Andrew, what's going on, buddy? But not the exact same one. If I could find the same one, I would swap it. There's pictures everywhere. If you guys see one and find one that looks like the little lamb with the corduroy on the backside, let me know. It was originally from Red Envelope. I would be forever grateful. But it is what it is. Jesus is king. Still won't be the same. It won't, Marie, but I won't let her know that it won't be the same. I've asked Saint Anthony, uh, Tony, turn around. What was lost must now be found. Looking for my daughter's. She had a blanket from birth. It's a little lamb head baby mat from Red Envelope, and we just can't find one like it. If we could, that would be great. We've had some sweet people. She's learning a lesson that there are some really good people in the world, and that's a cool thing because there are some really amazingly good people. There's somebody who's trying to make one for her from scratch. So that it'll be special. I have a person that I tracked down in Kansas City, of all places, with one that's very, very close to it, but not exactly it. And she sent it to me and wouldn't accept payment. I do have to say go Chiefs whenever she requests it. So there's that. But her son outgrew it, and my daughter will cherish it. So she was happy to move it forward. Dirty it up, she will never know. Exactly. No, if I can find the same one, I'll swap it out. I don't have anything from my childhood. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm mourning something I didn't have. Some people are like, what kind of Gen Xer are you? You should be tough. You should teach your kid to be tough. Suck it up, Buttercup. Let it go. Things happen. I don't want my daughter to grow up like that. I don't think you have to be non-empathetic. I don't think we have to not sympathize with our kids. I don't think we have to completely and totally ignore our kids' feelings in order to raise them tough. Turn the gain down again. I will. That's way down, Jeff. There. Let me know how that is. I'll move it a little further out too. Never go Chiefs. Listen, I appreciate the fact that she hooked me up, so I will say it. Let me know if the mic's better. I moved it away and I turned the gain down even further. I'm good, Catherine Neal. How are you this week? Cubs are doing all right this year, actually. So far, so good. So let's keep it going. Go Cubs, go. Got Liverpool in the house over on YouTube. Much better? Yeah. It's a new mic, so I'm still playing with the gain. I appreciate your help there, Jeff. Yeah, I turned the gain way back down and I moved it away. So yeah, I don't think we need to be mean to our kids to have our kids grow up tough. The way I'm going to do a video on it, and I want your thoughts on it. But the way I think about it, we flew without a net. So Gen Xers, we were tough, we were brave. Older generations were tough and brave because we were doing all these crazy things on bike ramps, flying through the sky, jumping off of swing sets, leaping from the tops of buildings. And we did it all without a safety net. If we got hurt, we were on our own. Some kids today, hey, Tammy, some kids today aren't being allowed to do those things. But I think the best of us, the ones that are trying to find the balance, are the ones that are letting our kids take a chance, but saying we're here if you need us. Go jump, go leap, go take that huge jump, take that huge leap. And if you fall, I'm here. You're still going to do what you're going to do. That's all good, but I'm here in case you need me. And I think that's the balance. I am losing YouTube messaging for some reason. There we go. What's the difference between boomers and Generation X? Well, the statisticals, the actual difference is that Generation X is born from 1965 to 1980. Boomers were the generation right before us, the big baby boom generation born from the 40s right up until 1965. The biggest difference, hey, Kevin, is that a lot of them had a parent at home when they were growing up. Baby boomers experienced a lot of things. What they didn't generally, what's up, Michael Tikanis, experience was the fact that we raised ourselves. We were the first and only generation to really not have anybody at home. Our parents had their mom at home, traditionally, and our kids had babysitters or daycare. We were basically all alone. Primus says should be till 83. The numbers are silly in my mind. If you relate, if you grew up the way a lot of us grew up, if you get it, if you grew up with our movies and our music, if you grew up, like I said, basically latchkey, if you did, then you can relate and you're close enough. I think it works. Parents these days put bubble wrap around their kids. Yeah, and that's what I try not to do. We let our kid take the risk. We will let her go off on her bike at 13 years old, at 12 years old, be out of sight and out of sound. But we also use technology for that safety net. We've got her on Life 360 because, I think it would be irresponsible to have things around technologically to protect our kids and not use them. But it's a balance. Let them drink and drive and find out. Yeah, well, I'm not willing to go that far. Although the joke with my older daughter is, she goes, did your generation drink and drive? And I will half jokingly say, well, we had to get home somehow. No Uber. A lot of us didn't grow up in a place where there were cabs around. It was just different. Not good, not right, but different. Hey, Cassandra. My parents took a weekend trip and let me stay home by myself when I was 13. Not uncommon. Because at 9, you were responsible for the health and welfare of other children, strangers' children. So if at 9 years old, you could, for payment, be responsible for somebody else's kids, then at 13, I guess our parents thought we could be responsible for ourselves. Michael Kurmulis says we had designated drivers in our group. We did too. It just didn't always work out the way we had planned it. When my mom worked, the lady across the street checked in on us. Well, that's the other thing, Cindy. We were alone a lot, but there were also eyes on us a lot because the other difference was, although we were all alone at home, we were raised by a community. Our parents shared the responsibility. Teachers were allowed to spank us. Neighbors were allowed to spank us. We were allowed to be scolded and disciplined by others because our parents needed the help in raising us. Gen X is the last no-mandated seatbelt generation. That is absolutely true. What are we talking about? No, nothing specific, just kind of bouncing around. My Easter was good. Thank you so much, Nene. Drinking Captain and Coke, watching this. The neighbors ratted us out constantly. And if they didn't, we probably wouldn't be here today. So, that's a good thing. If you look, we were talking about drinking and driving for a minute. Even the law was different. Not only did we drink and drive as a generation, probably more than we should, the law in most states allowed us to consume more and still legally be able to drive. So even the legal standard of what was considered drinking and driving was different than it is today. New York State specifically had two standards. There was a drinking while ability impaired, and then there was what we considered a DWI. So, even the laws were different. When my kids say, did you drink when you shouldn't have? Yeah, and by today's laws, we were legally allowed to drink when we shouldn't have. It changes. Legal limit was higher. Absolutely, Cindy. And again, the one thing you'll hear me say over and over again is I don't judge whether it was right or wrong. I'm not judging whether we should have or shouldn't have, whether it was good or it was bad. When we talk about the past, we don't legislate it. We don't adjudicate it. We just talk about it. And we enjoy what we enjoyed, and we just try to keep those memories alive. I remember my cousin and his girlfriend beach on a 2-seater pickup truck. I rode in the back of the pickup truck with the topper at 80 degrees. We spent a lot of time in the back of a lot of pickup trucks. Good evening, chat crew. Good to see you, Robert. D-Generation X? Well, maybe the Generation X, but okay. Hey, Kristen, how are you? Why do I think times change so much? I think they always do. A big driver in why it's changed so much this time was the technological compression. How fast things changed so much was ridiculous. It used to take generations for there to be so many technological advancements as we've had in one generation or within one. Hey, Susan, missed you as well. Thank you. Quit drinking alcohol 10 months ago. Congratulations on sobriety, Loretta. I don't drink a lot anymore, but I still drink when I choose to. Thanks for your point of view, Roger Dodger says. I thought I was the only one who thought that way. Roger, the more time you'll spend within this community, probably the number one direct message I get. The number one thing I see in email is the expression, I thought it was just me. I cannot tell you what's the expression. If I had a nickel for every time somebody said, I thought it was just me, none of this was just us. We share so much of this stuff. And it doesn't matter if we grew up in the country or in the city, if we were black or if we were white, if we were rich or we were poor, if our parents were, six generations in the States, or if, like mine, they just immigrated here within a generation. What the band you miss the most? I don't know if it's a band so much as a sound. I miss the diversity and sound from the 80s, that on one radio station, you never knew what was going to come up next, whether it was going to be Guns N' Roses or Metallica, whether it was going to be Kenny Rogers or John Denver, Bon Jovi or Culture Club. You really never knew what was coming up next. And no matter what it was, we listened through it. The Falcon is awesome, Andrew. I've got it right over there. We listened to all of it. We didn't love all of it necessarily, but let's be fair. Where I grew up, maybe three radio stations that came in clearly on the FM dial. So what was the point of trying to get a? By the time I would get the other station to come in clearly, the song would have been over anyway. So we learned from it. We just listened to it and were exposed to it. David Watts says radios used to play whatever. Well, yes and no. I mean, they didn't necessarily play whatever. We had country radio and we had more hard rock metal stations. 96.5 WCMF in Rochester, 97 Rock in Buffalo. But the truly pop radio station, the one that played top 40, that's what's kind of amazing, because top 40 back in the 80s wasn't just one kind of music. We could find almost anything represented on that top 40, which that's what I miss, I guess. Jet X had Metallica, Def Leppard, Rum DMC, Phil Collins, every other third song, maybe. Hi, John, I'm 48. I think music in the 80s was better than the music today. I can't fairly agree with that. I wish I could, but I don't give music today a fair shot. I just don't listen to enough of it to be able to say it. I think you're right. I hold the same position, but I don't want to necessarily, I don't want to turn into that yet. I'd like to give music today a shot. I need to have people give me suggestions of music that I would like and then listen to it, because I'm sure it's out there. Our parents gave up on our music, and I think a lot of them missed out on some really amazing music. Because if my parents loved Greek music, so that's a different story. But my friends' parents were like, music stopped being good in the 50s and the 60s and maybe into the 70s. So they missed out on Casey Kasem, as people are talking about, playing top 40 throughout the 80s and into the 90s. And I don't want to miss that. Remember listening to Wolfman Jack? Absolutely. We had great DJs. I made a video once where I was talking about how our radio stations were the Spotifys of our existence. And everybody had a radio station. Well, like I just mentioned, WCMF or 97 Rock, 98 PXY, the number one hit music station. We all had those radio stations. We all listened to Casey Kasem or Wolfman Jack. We all listened to, what was his name, that talked about Now You Know the Rest of the Story. The radio was just a place we all huddled around in our cars, and we loved our cars. So it was an amazing experience. And then I don't think people have that today. They're all listening to their curated experience on Spotify, or if they're a little older, maybe Amazon Music, Apple Music. We're not all listening to the same station. Ed Harvey, yeah. Paul Harvey, there it is, Paul Harvey. And now you know the rest of the story. Timmy! How are you, Timmy? I miss you, honey. I love Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. The other thing I loved, and dude, hey, LA, you guys just woke up a memory in me. And this goes back to the late 80s, early 90s. I went to school at UB, University of Buffalo. And my parents lived in Wolcott, New York, which was just on the other side of Rochester. And no matter, I had a job at college that I would work Monday through Friday, and I had school that I went to Monday through Friday. But on the weekends, I had to drive 2 hours home to go work the bar for my parents, because we had a bar back in Wolcott that paid for my education. So in addition to working in Buffalo, in order to help fund my education, I ran the bar they had on the weekends back home. And when I would drive back and forth, that was when I would listen to literally 2 hours of radio. Or when I got done bartending late at night, that's when I would listen to a lot of really cool radio. Christos Anesti, Alithos Anesti. You guys remember the programs that would be featured really, really late at night? And it was just always about weird stuff like aliens, and there would just be these people talking about different situations. And I don't remember the exact. Um, if somebody tells me the name, I'll probably remember it. But it was just on the AM dial, and it would run for like the first hour, the second hour. There would always be like 2 or 3 hours of it. So it took me through 2 hours of the ride, and I always thought that was cool. Did we paint our Easter eggs red? Yep, we get our Greek dye from Coast to Coast AM. That's it exactly. Dude, that's what I would listen to. Yeah, we get our egg dye at the Greek Orthodox Church here in town. I did see that the Pope passed away. You're welcome, Lee. I think we all carry the torch, carry the flag a little bit. Art Bell. Yeah, that's it exactly, Christine. I love it. Yeah, Coast to Coast AM was really cool. Vinny, yes, our bar of the Greeks. So yeah, every weekend I would drive home, 17, 18, I guess 18 years old at that point, bartending and making sure the bands that I hired showed up and doing all that. And then Sunday I'd turn right back around and go back to college. My kids would never have survived my childhood. My pride, Coast to Coast always talks about aliens. Yeah, they would talk about the Greys. It was just interesting to listen to. Do they still do that? I'd like to listen to that. Maybe I'm sure it's streaming somewhere, but it is still on. Um, I'll have to find it. That was pretty cool. Art lived in the Philippines before George Nori took over. I remember that. I remember Art having like a little place in his house that he would broadcast from. Damn. Working the family business and seven, dude. As soon as I was big enough to see over the counter, I was forced to learn how to carry at least 4 cups of coffee in my hands. Serenity, hello. Used to watch Unsolved Mysteries, absolutely. Ripley's Believe It or Not, absolutely. Teresa Joe Mercado, Rittenhouse, first time viewer, enjoying the conversation. Thank you. Sundays, we always have the wonderful world of Generation X. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a little more structured. I come into the conversation with some ideas of what we're going to talk about, but today I just missed it. Just felt like jumping on and figured whatever we wanted to talk about, we talked about. It's a little smaller group than we get, at least on Facebook during Sundays. Looks like YouTube's holding at about $1.50. Casey Kasem was the voice of Shaggy on Scooby-Doo. He was also the voice of Robin on Super Friends. Voice of quite a number of cartoons. Entertainment tonight for our celebrity news. Absolutely, Kevin. I love how your cup usually matches the color of your shirt. If it does, it's a mistake or a happy accident. But you're probably right now that I think about it. Thank you, Mandy. Hey, what's going on, James? Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are going to win today. That's incredible. I watch that show all the time. Don't know what that sound was. Either somebody subscribed. I think somebody subscribed. If somebody just subscribed. Oh, Lisa just became a follower. Vern just became a follower. Denise shared the stream. Vern actually shared the stream. I appreciate it, buddy. Wayne became a follower. Robert became a follower. I've got a couple subscribers. Guys, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. The fact that you guys really enjoy this blows my mind. Susan says, I love your TikToks. Thank you. I put out a couple good ones today that I liked. One was from the MTV Video Music Awards, which they still have right now, but I feel like it's stupid. Why does MTV have VMAs? They don't have videos, so why do they have Video Music Awards? Funk Bottom, Blacklight, Strobe Light, or Disco Ball. $5 super chat got my attention. If I had to pick between Blacklight, Strobe Light, or Disco Ball, I'll pick D. The ball that would have the... If I had to pick from yours, it would be Strobe Light. I had that. But the one I really loved was at Spencer's. You would go, and I don't remember what it's called, but like the electrostatic ball, wherever you put your fingers, like the electricity, that thing was like the most futuristic thing I ever laid my eyes on. Update on daughter's stuffed animal, still missing in action. No idea where it went. No clue, no idea. have not found even I've not even found one like it to replace it. So those out there, I mean, looking for it is probably nonsensical at this point, although I appreciate it. Finding a replacement would be huge. If you guys could find one, it was originally from Red Envelope, purchased around 2011. Internet sleuths out there, or what I can't check is individual. If you guys are, what's that app where you see your own neighborhood? My Neighborhood, is that what it's called? I can only see mine. But if you guys are ever on that, or your Facebook marketplaces and see locally, keep an eye out. It's a little lamb head. The body's got corduroy underneath it. That's the biggest difference from the ones that are mostly out there, and it has a Red Envelope tag on it. Greetings from Washington. How are you, Matthew from Washington? David Watts shared the screen. Thank you, David. Where's my Wirehead? I think we probably threw Wirehead off because I don't usually go on it on Monday. Usually go on Sunday, and took that off because of Easter. Plasma ball light. Exactly right, Gina. Greetings from the land of Oz. I got my Sweetie Pie, the He's Just a Bill t-shirt because his name is Bill. Sweet. I love it. I got some new designs up if y'all have not checked out the merch store. A couple things on there that are cool. And I'm actually just waiting, maybe this week at some point, they're sending me out, Dashery's sending me out some more samples. So I will do an unboxing and let y'all know what I get. 2 channels, a lot to keep track of. Later, bud. Later, Yogi. Have I seen Madonna? Looks like she has Willie Nelson in a headlock. Yeah, I saw a video where Madonna, and they took her back through the years, and there was a moment where everything changed with Madonna. No judgment, though. We all get old if we're lucky. Chris Clues, my good man. Good to see you, brother. How did I get started? Joanna asks. I just literally was COVID. TikTok was the first. My then 10-year-old daughter was bored. So we started making videos together, and one thing led to another. And TikTok started to go, and then Facebook started to take off. And then I said, let's try Instagram, and that started to take off. And now YouTube is really starting to go. YouTube is quickly becoming where I get a lot of views. The only place I have no love at all is X, formerly known as Twitter. Adios on Esti, Stephanie. Can I get a moderator? Let me know what's up there. Usually is one on. LA's right above you. So there are moderators on. Found a plasma ball with an alien head of the green light, which is fun. That sounds pretty cool. Kara, have a great night. Catch you on the next one. See you on the flip side. Do I remember Solid Gold? Absolutely. With Rex. Damn it. Rex somebody. And Marilyn McCoo. God, I can't believe I remembered that. Schoolhouse Rock t-shirts, love it. Yeah, one of the new ones I added was a What's Your Function? The little engineer from Conjunction Junction. George Neary from Coast to Coast was in Charlotte. Dude, why did nobody tell me? I'm in Charlotte. How funny that we were just talking about it. I had no idea that he went, well, coast to coast, like in person. Don't work too hard, Kimberly. Rick D's, Soul Train, Silver Wolf coming in with a $2 cyber chat, super chat. Hey, you guys, Goonies never say die. All right, so the hey, you guys from the Goonies. I've yet to get a good answer on this, and every time I go live, it comes up. And every time I go live, I say I'm going to do the research. And every time I get off of live, I forget to do the research. Was there some point in the movie where they're watching the electric company? Andy Gibb was a host as well, Gina. Good call. Rex Smith. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Gina. I want to say somewhere in there, the sloth is watching electric company. And here's Rita Moreno do the hey, you guys in the background. And that's why he copies it. Because a lot of kids that come into my channel will see me do something with electric company and hey, you guys off of the electric company intro, and they're shocked. They think that's stealing from the Goonies. But electric company did it first. Lidville, I've talked about it. I've shown it. Oh, dude, I appreciate you for subbing, Frontal. I never really watched that particular Croft show, Lidville. Captain Kangaroo, Romper Room. I loved Captain Kangaroo. Try watching Cyndi Lauper making a song for the Goonies. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize there was something like that. I will definitely watch it. Sloth was watching when Chunk was first kidnapped. All right, see, I thought I had that. We have these fake memories that we create. I wondered if I'd created that in my own head. Morgan Freeman, it was Rita Moreno that yells it. Um, Obviously, Morgan Freeman was on Electric Company as well. He often narrated the Spider-Man segment. Dude, on the duo segment, I have a clip that is sitting on my editing room floor. So for something to be a reel on Facebook, I've got to keep it under 90 seconds. If I go to 91 seconds, then it becomes a different kind of video. I had Simon and Simon. I had Laverne and Shirley. I had Lenny and Squiggy. I had Mork and Mindy. I had to kind of consolidate it, but I felt bad about the Simon and Simon. I didn't realize I cut that until the end, and I didn't want to cut that. I should have cut something else because I think it's funny to say that I do know the difference between Simon and Simon. Hey, Tawny. But that was I enjoyed that duo video today. I did a bunch of videos today. I'm glad to see you guys saw some of them. Speed Buggy, vroom, vroom, vroom. Fall Guy. 90s Kid, first time live. Good to have you here, man. 90s were awesome. I am starting to talk more and more about the 90s. I think for Gen X, some of our early Gen Xers, our early adapters, forget that the youngest Gen Xer was literally 10 years old when the 90s started. It's 90s was a very big decade for Gen X. Now, whether it was a very big decade for the young kids who are, like I said, 10, 11, 12 years old, or like me, 19, 20, 21, 22. That was awesome. I always say I was born in the 70s, I grew up in the 80s, and I became an adult, as much as Gen Xers ever do, at some point throughout the 90s. Didn't happen all at once. Romper Room was my favorite, says Diana, with the looking glass. I see David. I see Sally. I see a fly. I missed it. Star Search with Ed McMahon. Yo, Trisha. Magic Mirror fucked with me, says Jeremy. Bigfoot on the $6 man. Bigfoot also on the Croft Super Show. Saturday morning cartoons. There was a Bigfoot and Wild Boy live action show that I loved as a kid. That was one of my earliest memories. I was a really little kid. I did see the Pepsi Where's My Jet. It was pretty good. I liked that documentary. Kids Say the Darndest Things. Or even before Kids Say the Darndest Things. Again, I was really little, but older generation Xers will remember Candid Camera. And with, what was his name? Alan Funt. The bionic German Shepherd's name was Max. Damn, I didn't know I knew that. Yeah, Alan Funt. And I mean, he would talk to kids a lot. I loved that part about it. Yep, it was Max. And there was actually a backdoor pilot on that, Jeremy, that if you see the episode where Max first came in, it was Christopher Knight from the Brady Bunch, the actor that played Peter. That was supposed to spin off into its own show with Christopher Knight and the dog. Bionic Dog was supposed to be its own show. It just never got picked up as a backdoor pilot. Do I believe in microgenerations? I believe in anything that makes somebody feel connected. If you are in that cusp between Gen X and millennials and share a little bit with both and feel like Zennial makes sense to you, have at it. Doesn't hurt me. Listen, I'm not one of those that's like, you can't do this or you can't do that. You can call yourself whatever you want. You can be whatever you want, do whatever you want, think whatever you want, feel whatever you want. I don't care. As long as you're happy and what you do doesn't hurt me. As long as what you do doesn't hurt me, you have at it. Thanks, Tamara. You have a good evening, too. But yeah, it makes sense for a lot of people. Jen Jones especially. because the boomer drop off to Gen X is really severe. Thanks, Teresa Joe. I appreciate that. Do I remember the Benny Hill show? Absolutely. Grape Ape, absolutely. Rin Tin Tin, I know of, um, but I was too old to have actually watched it first run personally. Too young. Transformers in the 80s. Don't tell them that, Johnny, this is what makes them go off the deep end. No, that's like, let them do what they want to do. I put the caveat out there. You can't necessarily expect me to go along with it because we all have our own opinions. And we all need to be allowed to have our own opinions until or unless my opinion hurts you or prevents you from having yours. That's all I'll say on that. As an 80s baby, I see myself as a millennial on a 3-day Gen X pass. That works. SCTV with John Candy, a little bit. Original Hulk with Lou Ferrigno, a lot. David, let's see. I'm a pepper, you're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? That was, oh, damn it. David, Last American Werewolf was on that commercial. It'll come to me, and somebody will probably print it out before I even get a chance to say it. Original Wonder Woman with Linda Carter, absolutely. David Naughton, there it is. You guys are faster than I am. Our joint memories are amazing. The cool thing about both Bionic Woman and Wonder Woman is that a lot of boys watched both, not just for the obvious reasons. A lot of us really just, I mean, Wonder Woman had some awesome episodes. And yes, she was nice to look at as well, without a doubt. But I enjoyed, like, especially Bionic Woman had some amazing episodes. The whole Fembot stuff was pretty damn cool. Speaking of things nice to look at, Kevin reminds us of Battle of the Network Stars, Valerie Bertinelli, also Linda Carter. Listen, that was equal opportunity. They had guys and girls in bathing suits, and it was completely and totally on purpose. I appreciate that, Diana. Loved Greatest American Hero. Linda is still amazing looking today. She is. Go Cubs. Rockford File. No, never found what we were looking for. Not yet, anyway. Is it our age or something else? Is what our age or something else? There's a lot of people coming up on 200 people over on YouTube, which is awesome. Just it's getting difficult for me to keep up. Captain America in the, oh God, do you guys remember the early Captain America TV movie on ABC? I think that was god awful. Does anybody remember the original Wonder Woman special, I think, on ABC? Linda Carter in the 70s was actually not the first woman, first celebrity to play the part of Wonder Woman. There was a pilot just before Linda Carter's pilot. Somebody could replicate the blanket. Actually, there's a seamstress trying. You guys are so amazing. The way, I don't know if you guys have seen it. There's this influencer thing on Netflix with young kid influencers. And I always struggle with whether to let Cleo be on camera or not. But I honestly think, especially given the fact that she's now 13, there are more good people in the world than bad people. So I do let her come on. And the way that she was embraced is amazing. Rob, dude, thank you so much. $20 super chat. What a fantastic group of people. Such a fun time. Thank you, John. Rob, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you more than I appreciate all of y'all. Not just because of the super chats, not just because of the subscriptions, obviously. It's everything. But yeah, I don't know. Adrienne Palicki, yep, started as a Wonder Woman. That was in the 2000s. I don't know if I saw it come up yet. It was really bad. Really, really bad. But the original Wonder Woman of the 70s, there was one in the earlier 50s and 60s on TV that was also really bad. Hey, Deborah Mott, not late. Didn't know I was going to be coming on, so you can't be late. But I'll give you a clue. She was blonde, which was weird. Cleo is actually at a friend's house, but if she shows up, she's on spring break. Here in Charlotte area, a lot of our breaks went after Easter. So she might show up. I'm a huge Cubs fan. There it is. Con brought it to us. Kathy Lee Crosby played the part of Wonder Woman. And if you got to look it up. It's on YouTube if you haven't seen it. It's different. She's got a completely different outfit. It's very 70s. Really, really different. I am a huge Cubs fan. And for those that don't know the story, Kevin Stone, $5 super chat. Kathy Lee Crosby was Wonder Woman in the pilot. Absolutely. Now people caught up. What was I saying? Super chat threw me off. I typed it already, Jono. Well, LA, you got me. Close enough. Thank you. That's what I was saying. Yeah, so I'm a huge Cubs fan. And the reason why is my Greek immigrant mother could not tell the difference between the logos. Either couldn't tell or didn't care. I'm not sure which is which. Probably a little bit of both. Yeah, Gina Walker, not from Real People. Well, maybe she was on Real People, but from That's Incredible. Yeah, I don't know if she couldn't tell the difference or if she couldn't care less, but she bought me a ton of Chicago Cubs stuff when all I asked for was Buffalo Bills stuff. And it stuck. And I'm glad it did because I suffered a lot, but my Cubs gave me a championship, unlike my Bills. 2016 will always be one of my favorite memories. And LA, to quote my mother, the Cubs stuff was chipper. It was always on clearance. Sarah Purcell was Real People. That's right. Kevin, Knock It Off. Loretta, Chips, Knight Rider, Hill Street Blues, MASH, all of the above. Harry, thank you so much. Thank you so much for condolences on my father-in-law. That leaves my mom. Knock on wood. Lost my mother-in-law about 3 years ago. Lost my pop about 5. Just lost my father-in-law, so that leaves my mom. There's an old Greek saying that you never are fully grown as long as there's someone on this earth that can call you their child. If there's somebody around that can still look at you and say, you're my kid, then you're not quite there yet. And I have no intent, no desire, no need to be there anytime soon. Not ready. I do not feel like the oldest person in the room. I do. My mom is awesome. Trying to get her to come up to Charlotte a little more often. I'd love to get her on for some content. I think the woman is a star. Woman's got a lot. Yeah, I saw Bratz on Hulu. My mom's got a lot of content in her. Still love my parents. I without a doubt. Without a doubt. Listen, our parents beat us within inches of our lives. They were less than, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentional on the way they raised us. They didn't give us a lot of attention. We weren't the main characters in any story growing up, but they gave us what we needed, if not what we wanted. A definition of a good parent back then was roof over your head and food in your stomach. They taught us right and wrong. My parents. And I know it's different for everybody. And I know some people didn't have the world's greatest parents because that's just the way the world works. But I was really lucky. I'm rapidly getting there. I have 2 aunts, an uncle, and a great uncle left. I have a great uncle left as well. Irish lover, what's going on? Celebrating 9 months as an honorary excerpt. Damn, that's a long time. Just lost. Oh, Melanie, I am so sorry. Melanie Mueller, just lost my mom a week ago. God bless you. We lost my father-in-law a week ago. Clothes on your back, yeah, Raven. And also my aunt died on the same day a week ago Friday. I'll never forget the day I became an orphan. My mom died on Christmas Day, 2019. Lost my dad in 2005. My sister-in-law said that. She said she's an orphan now. And I get it. But I always equate that to being younger. Maybe I'll understand better when the day comes, but I don't like to think of it that way. My mother's uncle is still alive, if you can believe that, which is crazy because she's 80. So how old is he? But hoping I emulate those genetics. 80s parents worried about their kids. Were sniffing whiteout. Say hi to Hannah, Ava, and Taya, please. I appreciate that. So much fun to be on your channel. I appreciate that. My dad was only 72. My dad was well into his 90s and would have gone longer. I died. I honestly, my dad, he was in a nursing home because he needed the assistance. He was in his mid 90s. And during COVID, we weren't allowed to visit. And I truly think he just died of, I think he died of loneliness because his dementia was starting to progress. And I think it just made him so sad and stressed that he couldn't see us that I think that's why he passed. But I was blessed to have my life for as long as I did. Anyway, this is getting depressing. What else? We're at the point where life is taking things. David, don't believe it. Life has been taking things from day one. And it also gives. If you look left, you'll see people dying, but if you look right, you'll see people being born. Our kids are having kids. Our kids in some cases are having kids. There is life replacing death everywhere we choose to look. And that's why when I talk about movies and music and TV to switch it to that direction, I don't want to give up on it. Because as our shows go away, as our celebrities go away, as the people we grew up watching go away, I don't want to be left with just reruns. We need to either create the stuff we love, which is why I'm okay with not remakes, but revisits like Maverick. Maybe letting the Goonies come back. I'm okay with it. We need new stuff. Anyone see all five members of the Breakfast Club reunited? I had a chance to get out that way. I didn't get to go because of everything that happened, and I knew it was going to happen with my father-in-law. I did see all but Emilio in Orlando a few months ago, though. Queenie, $5 super chat. Thank your mom for us. You're a gift. You've kept me laughing, and I love your channel. God bless you. Thank you so much. Chris Clues, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop to look around once in a while, you could miss it. The poet laureate, Ferris Bueller, stop and look around. Dude, if you had a third arm, that looks like, is that what we think wait, is that one of the tattoos? Now I'm drawing a blank. I know Sincerely Yours, The Breakfast Club is one. Is that the other? I don't remember. If life puts you down, you have to push back. Life is amazing. Life is awesome. Life is hard. Life sucks. Life's a beach. Life's a bitch. We've heard it all. It's all of those things all of the time. That's what I'm trying to get my kids to realize. That's what That's what I want the next generation to realize, that life is not supposed to be fair. Nothing is supposed to be anything. There is a movie that nobody but me apparently has seen. And that's not true, but nobody ever talks about it. It's an early 2000s movie called Pleasantville. And it is a great movie for a lot of reasons. But one of my favorite things about that movie is the main character, Spider-Man. What the hell's his name? The first Spider-Man movie. Somebody help me out here. I can remember things from 1970. I can't remember something from 2000. Somebody give it to me. And Tobey Maguire. So Tobey Maguire turns to his mother, who in the movie actually is the mom from the Malcolm in the Middle show. And she just turns to him, and I think she's younger than me in the movie, but she turns to Tobey and says to him, I just never thought life was supposed to be like this. And she's broken down, and she's just shattered by it. And he turns to her and goes, life's not supposed to be anything. That's what I want kids to realize. When they're looking at how much less expensive homes were for a different generation, that's true. But that generation also traveled to Germany to fight a war. That was 1998. Damn. Jane Kaczmarek. Yes, I love that movie. I'm going to watch it again tonight. Just the way that he says it, that it's not supposed to be anything. I'm going to watch it with my daughter today. And there's a few things in there that may be inappropriate. I'll cover her eyes. But that's the cool thing. I want kids to realize. Yes, young generations before them. Come here, honey.
Can I wear this?
Yeah. Generations before them had some things easier and some things harder. They dealt with famine and wars and Great Depressions. They didn't have the benefit of technology. So yeah, homes were cheaper, but you can't cherry pick the best of a previous generation and ignore the worst of it. How was it, honey? Did you go to Target?
Yeah.
Did you get anything?
Yeah, I got some jewelry.
Got some jewelry?
And like yogurt bites.
Everybody say hi to Cleo. Cleo, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Got 150 people down to on YouTube. Facebook's kind of quiet, I gotta say, but it's more intimate. The World According to Garp was a good movie.
What do you look at on here?
What do I look at? I usually look here for the
Is that
comments.
what you're looking right now?
Yeah, I'm looking right there.
Oh.
But the camera's here. So I guess I could move the camera like this and then do this. Better? That's weird. Huh. Because now I'm looking here, but it's making me look there.
It's all weird. This whole camera thing is weird.
Anyway. Miss Cleo used to tell the future in the 80s. That is absolutely true.
See, it looks like... Oh, this thing is so...
You just don't like the fact that it reverses everything.
I don't.
Secret Life of
That's
Walter
weird.
Mitty. That's a good one. People didn't know you were probably going live. Yeah, that is true. I never go live Monday. Now, I will tell you, I'll probably go live for a little bit tomorrow. And then starting next Tuesday, I will be live 7 o'clock to 9 p.m. I usually bartend during that time, but I took the night off. And as a result of taking the night off, I will now be doing a live trivia event at the bar. They'll also live stream every Tuesday. Caught you live, sweet young lady. The Burbs, Tom Hanks. Homes may have been cheap. Yeah, even with wages being lower, Deborah, they were more affordable is the thing. There was a time in our not so distant past where one person working in the family, right? Our dad's working, were enough for the family to live. One income paid a mortgage. Those days for the large part are gone now. Take care, Melanie. So I can acknowledge that. But when kids say to me, well, it's harder for us to own a home today, it's harder for us to do X, Y, or Z. Okay. And so what do you want me to say? That's just the way it is today. There have always been ups and downs in the economy. Give it a minute. Work harder. Save longer. Stay with your parents. Get a roommate. Get 2 roommates. Do what I did. I had 5 roommates. There were 5 of us all together. Tony lived in the basement. Tony Gallick, if you're on. He actually made a room for himself in the basement off a lease. He wasn't even technically on the lease. It's so good, bad, and otherwise. It just is what it is, and you have to deal with it.
Everybody is so sweet on here.
Everybody is absolutely so sweet on here.
Somebody said, Cleo, do you want a new lamb blanket? But honestly, I'm going to have like 20 of them coming to my house.
There's a few coming her way.
I'll take whatever, honestly.
You know, she's sad about it. And some people were assholes. Excuse my language. I'll call a spade a spade. I'll say it is who it is. Some people were jerks. Some people are like, oh, I would have said what our parents said. You lost it. It's your fault, blah, blah, blah. It's nobody's fault. She was grieving the loss of her grandfather, for crying out loud. So if she was less than attentive at 4 a.m. in the morning, so were we. That's not the point. When people said that, but what she saw for every one of those comments, she saw 100 people sharing the post. And I get that it's just a blankie, but it's a blankie that she's had since before she was born. And I'm not going to not be compassionate with my kids. My kids are going to learn one thing, that I can't do it all, but I'll never stop trying.
Thank you.
What is her Amazon gift list? Oh, there is not one.
My gosh.
She doesn't need anything at the point. If anybody finds that exact model, that would be huge.
Yeah.
Because I honestly believe eventually hers is going to end up on there. I'll still be on, Jeremy. I honestly believe hers will be on there. Someone's going to find it and not know it and just put it on there, and I want it back.
No, I did not find it.
So someone will find it and they'll post it somewhere for sale, and I'll grab it. Or one of you will see it and let me know. Hopefully. There's always bad people who make bad comments. David, they do it just because they want the attention. And a couple people I gave the attention they were looking for.
Do you have a picture of the blanket?
It is, there is, if you look at photos on my Facebook page, or if you go to posts on my YouTube page, there's actually a post right there. You can't miss it. It's only been since Sunday. So if you're on YouTube and you're looking for it, go to my posts under the community section. If you're on Facebook, just click photos. You'll see it. It's basically a little lamb head. It's like a baby cuddling mat is what they call it. It's from a company called Red Envelope. There's actually a little red envelope tag on it. And the bottom was corduroy, which what has made it different. Every other Snuggie we see, it's the only one that has a corduroy bottom. There are haters everywhere, Retro. Sonia, haters everywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you, Loretta. Am I a New York Knicks fan? Not really into basketball much. That's the one sport I don't watch. My favorite color is definitely blue. Why do you say that? It's always been blue. My Bills are blue. My Cubs are blue.
Yeah, you need mods.
I've got mods on YouTube.
Yeah, but here.
Oh, really? Tell me where. Oh, for generally speaking, I don't know that Facebook allows for mods, but you know, it's listen, I will find them usually and block them, but people just tear them apart anyway. Hey, Terry Belvedere, focus on the positive. That's what I want. I saw it, want to find it.
Huh?
She says she saw what it looks like and she wants to find it.
Oh.
Oh, thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you. I wear a lot of blue. Well, a big part of it is so like if you ever watched comic books, the X-Men, that this is yellow and blue. My favorite teams have blue. And yeah, let's be honest, my wife buys me a lot of blue.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Cleo, I can have someone make it for you.
Anybody that's willing to try. It just teaches a lesson. And then anything we have extra. Kimmy Sue, thank you so much. We'll probably share with others and just pay it forward. Who knows? By the time this is done, maybe we will have a charity where we gift blankies to children in hospitals. Who knows where something good will come of this.
You guys have beautiful eyes. Thank you.
Hers are prettier than mine. I was planning on getting married in September this year, but I lost it. It's going too fast. Allowed a surprise that Gen Xer allowed corduroy in his home. It snuck in. Plus, this wasn't the kind of corduroy. Like, I'd never, ever, ever, ever would I ever wear corduroy pants. That was just friction in the wrong possible place. Chicago Sox fan boyfriend is Cubby and wants me to convert. Shelby, come on over. It's so good over here. Cubs are such a good team. We're fun, lovable losers. 108 years that finally got it done. Facebook does allow mods on the live streamer, has mods on his live streaming. I will try to figure it out. Live streaming on Facebook, I don't really have many problems. Let me see. Andrew. See, usually I click on something and then I can turn them into a moderator, but I can't do that there. Hi, Fahim. Corduroy furniture, that just sounds like a fire waiting to happen. I live by the Cubs, dislike. Thoughts on Steve Bartman? Dude, it wasn't his fault. I hated him at the moment. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I blamed him like everybody else. Steve Bartman, by the way, is the scapegoat for the Cubs losing 2013, 2014 in the playoffs. He kind of almost sort of impeded the ball. He got a Super Bowl. He got a World Series ring, though. The Cubs got him a ring. Rob, thank you again. $20 super chat. Gotta go. Stay positive. We're all in this together, my friend, and we absolutely are. Everybody's in it together. I grew up in a family that loves the Yankees. That's cool. Childhood sounds a lot like mine. I got to get fit. You're inspiring me to do so. I've got to start lifting again. I took a little bit of a break. I'm going to start probably tomorrow. Bartman could not have been 2003. Dude, was that really 3? Wow, that's insane. Time flies, man. Yeah, I guess it would have been, though. Corduroy pants. The worst thing about corduroy pants was that they had like an early warning system to let bullies know I was coming. Because as I walked down the hallway, my thighs chafing together, you would just hear that all the way down the hallway. I hated those things. The only thing worse than corduroy for me growing up was wool. Wool that doesn't exist in the world today. The wool we had, the cardigans, the sweaters, the wool clothing we were forced to wear was inhumane. I hated that stuff. It just itched and it just like ate your skin. It was horrible.
One Love Sing for me, girl.
Yeah, no.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Super itchy. Scratchy as hell. And our parents love buying it. The swish. Zzz, zzz. For me, there's no P. It was more. Do I watch football? I'm a huge Bills fan. Got the whole story. They make the worst color. Listen, not only did I have corduroy pants, you guys just woke another memory in me. I had a brown three-piece suit made entirely of corduroy. And I need to find I need to find this because I'm sure there's a picture of somebody wearing it somewhere. Ginger Arthur super chat $10 $9.99. I can't stay. Wanted you to know I was here. Absolutely love your content. You know, one Gen X to another. P.S. Your daughter is beautiful. Ginger, thank you so much. Love you to death. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank God for her mother, or she wouldn't be. But yeah, three-piece. So that was the jacket, the vest, and the pants, all made of corduroy. Dark brown corduroy. It was like a suit of armor. I probably could have taken a bullet in this thing, and as long as the jacket was over the vest, it bounced off. My parents were mean. I think it was actually even more Gen X than my parents being mean, is that this suit was a hand-me-down. My older brother, Nick, got it before I did. So it started with him and then came to me. I can see that in my mind. It was god-awful. I will find a picture and post it. Yellow knit vest? No, it was a three-piece suit, David. So the actual vest was corduroy brown also. I legitimately had MC Hammer baggy pants. I was never that cool. Did I have... I don't know what that said. Cummerbund with that three-piece suit? No, it wasn't a tux. Love the corduroy texture of corduroy so much. To wear it, like I get it. To like on her snuggie was nice because you could feel it underneath, and it was comfortable.
My face.
Yeah.
It's like so uncomfortable though. It's unfortunate.
Take care, Primus. You are a walking chocolate bar. I love your eyes, man.
Hi?
Thank you. What's that, my love?
Can you say hi to them?
Hi, side to who?
They keep saying hi.
Hi. Shout out your channel. Mo Games. Shout out to Mo Games. I'm happy to do that. My daughter looks like a young Brooke Shields. It's a compliment to Brooke Shields.
Oh, I think I know who that is.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Dinosaurs have changed a lot since the original Land of the Lost. My dad had a canary yellow three-piece suit. God, that sounds ugly. No offense to your dad. Hello from Australia. What's going on?
Wow.
Welcome you back. Saying hi from Charlotte. I hated that my mom made me wear it to a Greek Orthodox service. So for those who keep asking about Easter, we didn't get to go this Easter to church. Just, I don't know, the loss and everything of my father-in-law. We just weren't in a very Eastery place, which probably isn't right, but it is what it is. Easter Sunday as a kid. I don't know what y'all's memory of Easter was. I will share you mine. As a Greek Orthodox kid living a full hour and a half away from our church, we grew up in a small town outside of Rochester, and we didn't have a Greek church in Rochester. In Wolcott, we had to drive to Rochester, which was over an hour away. So to make Greek Easter Mass, we had to get up at the crack of dawn, get dressed up, put on our Sunday best, get ready, not argue with our other two brothers, make sure we didn't do anything to annoy my sleep-deprived mother, which would result in an Easter Sunday beating, and then go to church. Sleep-deprived, food-deprived, because we're not allowed to eat until after Easter service. Fasting for 40 days for Easter is a very big thing in my religion. I don't do it anymore. My mom can't make me, and I'm not doing it. And I'm not making my kids do it. But when we were kids, we had to fast 40 days. Nothing that had any bones, nothing that had any blood, nothing that ever had a face, nothing that nothing.
Members only.
Yeah, I've got a members only jacket hanging right over there. So we were starving, couldn't have our cereal, couldn't have anything. And then went to church. And like I said, there were very few times when we didn't get a smack in the head because we just didn't behave. Bermuda jackets, no. Members only jacket, yes. Day's going well. Thank you so much. You don't know a word of Greek? I know a lot of them. 40 days. Yeah, the idea is that you're supposed to, and it's not it's a strict fast in terms of what we're allowed to eat, but the idea is to simply prepare for a journey because Lent is supposed to be a journey and we travel light. My first cousin plays for Olympiakos in Greece, the Greek national team. Dude, that's awesome, Angelo. Olympiakos. That's one of the Greek national team. Get me a jersey. I'd love a signed jersey. That is so cool. A lot of my family were PAOK fans. Let's see, what was it they used to say? PAOK Kunisu Tapesi Tovrakisu. It was a very long service. And we'd also have Friday night mass, which was also a very long service. And Greek Orthodox mass is a standing service. We stand through 95% of it. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate it. Do my kids know Greek? My oldest understands a lot of it. My youngest, we weren't great about making sure that she did. She's trying to learn it on her own. Duolingo.
Failing me though.
Hey, the goat one. Hi. What's going on, Pitt? The holidays are depressing. I don't celebrate anymore. Andrew, I challenge you to turn that around, buddy. I can see how for a lot of people it is. I would really challenge you to find a way to turn that around. Do something. Be with those less fortunate. Be with those you love. There's a way.
I like Duolingo. It's just sometimes it teaches me like random sentences, like the rice is pink.
Irish Lover, $2 super chat saying fiance died of cancer this March 22nd. Lovers of 15 years. Dude, I am so sorry. Oh man, I am so sorry. I had no clue that you've been going through that this past time. God bless. Hanker for a hunk of cheese. Actually, I have one of those shirts. I just put up not too long ago on my site with Time for Timer.
So, do you see it?
I appreciate it. No, I didn't, honey. You can shout out to me what I'm missing.
Yeah, I know. It just says this was a hard one for my
niece on Friday. But I can sympathize. We lost my nephew in his early 20s unexpectedly. It all happens. It all happens. But it's easier if we have some faith. I try to believe that I'll see those I love and I've lost. I hope that I'll see them again. I'm actually not fat, but I will, let's see, remove. Bye-bye. And everybody will lose, Joan. Everybody will lose. Either we'll be those lost or we will lose others. But one way or the other, we will all go through it in time. And it's where we try to put our focus and try to be positive. And then we're going to hurt and grieve for a while. It doesn't go away overnight. For some parts, it doesn't ever go away. But it's funny, when we lost my nephew, that was the first time I realized that we all think as we're young, that happiness and sadness exist on a scale, right? And as you get happier, then you get less sad. And as you get sad, you get less happy. And then we grow up a little bit and we realize that those two things can exist simultaneously. You can carry sadness within you all the while being very happy. You can laugh and want to cry and feel it all at the same time. Back in the gym starting tomorrow, Kevin. I will put up a post to show it.
Good luck. They said they want you to wish them good luck.
Good luck. I would be happy to wish everybody good luck. But life is, as they say, something nobody gets out of alive. Count your blessings every day, Gina says. Carry the special memories. Do what we can. Today's my half-sister's birthday. Happy birthday to her. Better memories in the past 15 years before that. She made my life better. It's just hard. I can absolutely 1,000% relate. What's that?
No.
Who else am I getting rid of? Irish or other mods, if you could help. There we go. There.
Where's the arrow?
Because they're idiots, to answer your question, LA. Back home and on track. Lost both my paternal grandparents before the pandemic. Called my bathroom the gym instead of the John. Well, I appreciate that. What else, guys? What else have we got? What time is it right now?
10 something.
10 something. We'll stay on a little longer. Cleo, how old are you?
13.
She is also a young teenager. She has not yet read the S.E. Hinton books. Outsiders? We're going to Barnes & Noble tomorrow because she wants to pick up the Hunger Games books, and I think we're going to be picking up a copy of The Outsiders while we're there. Thank you for the suggestion. Perfectly age appropriate. Is it Gyro, Giro, or Hero? It's Giro. Kind of like a hard Y, Giro. But I have Greeks that live in New York City that have started calling it Gyro. So, Retro Sonia, 100% truth. I'm getting back to the gym. You always remind me to get fit. Fit already. I'm less fit than I was. I'll get back, though. Where am I from? I'm originally from Rochester, New York. Moved to a small town called Wolcott, New York, when I was about 4 or 5 years old. Lived there till I was 18. Went to school at the University of Buffalo and stayed there till about 2002. Then moved to my wife's town of Rochester, Chili proper, until coming to the Charlotte area in 2016. Not far from Utica.
Thank you.
Soda Pop and Outsiders got drafted to Vietnam. Remember there was all those stories we would hear. Jessica, thank you. I remember the whole thing about Chuck, Richie's older brother. That just disappeared seemingly, was supposedly drafted into Vietnam, which would have been Korea, actually, given the timing. Lou Graham from Foreigner is definitely from Rochester, New York, Sonia.
Buy her the Boxcar Children books.
Okay. Stay gold, Pony Boy. Love your videos, dude. Thank you, Randolph. I appreciate it. Big Dave, you getting books? Can I suggest Fahrenheit 451? I think 13 is a good age to read it. Probably not wrong. Maybe 14. I think I was a freshman in high school when I first read it. So, but pretty close. Lord of the Flies, I was pretty sure that was my sophomore year. I'm thinking these will all come up. I hope they will all. A kid's still reading Catcher in the Rye, Fahrenheit 451, 1984. What else did we read? Ray Bradbury. What else did we read? William Golding was Lord of the Flies, right? 1984. Aldous Huxley was A Brave New World. I remember S.E. Hinton, The Outsiders, Steinbeck's Mice and Men. Are they still reading this stuff? No. Somebody, Catherine Neal says no. Benjamin says some of that stuff, yes. Watership Down, the book had to be easier to deal with than the movie. To Kill a Mockingbird, I loved.
Bet Cleo can't wait to drive.
What's that?
I'm a bit scared, but...
So. I still remember teaching her older sister to drive, which was now 6 years ago, but it feels like yesterday. The feeling as a parent when you're in the passenger seat for the first time, watching your baby basically take your life into their hands, that's just something. Shout out to Lily. Last of the Mohicans. One of my favorite books. Anybody remember John Knowles, A Separate Piece? I really related to that book as a kid. Thank you, LA, for moderating. I appreciate you. A Separate Piece by John Knowles. I really related to both of the boys in that movie. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, much better than the movie. And now these are all good books, right? Books of value, books that are educational. I wonder how many kids her age or younger are reading things like V.C. Andrews or Stephen King, the books that we read when we had no business reading them. Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, I loved that series. The Chronicles of Narnia, I read all of them, I think, all the way through. And what's funny is a lot of people now will talk about the biblical connotations. I never knew it. I understand that C.S. Lewis had that inclination, that he was very spiritual, very religious, and it was all very intentional. I just thought it was a good book and story about kids traveling to Narnia, and I didn't get any of that, good, bad, or otherwise. I'm not judging. I'm just saying I didn't get any of that as a kid. I just took it as fantasy. Are you kidding me? What 16-year-old doesn't want to drive? Well, she's 13. So I did a video today that goes back to 2 years ago when I was telling her how when we were kids, the first time I ever drove, I was probably her age. And my mom had left the keys to her 1980 yellow giant LTD. And we just went out for a short joyride. And people were saying, well, now that she knows that you did that, she's going to do that. I promise you, she's not going to do that. Would you ever imagine, even if you could get away with it, taking the keys and driving?
No.
They're not built the same as us. And again, good, bad, both, different. Do you know how much a set of foundation books costs? Is that what that says?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I did. I drove a land yacht, and I didn't do a good job of it. Tale of Two Cities, A Christmas Carol. She is in the 8th grade, Karen. Sorry, I didn't mean to answer for you. Are you in 8th grade? No.
Right. No. No, you don't know what grade I'm in?
I'm drawing a blank. No, she's in 7th grade. She'll be in 8th grade next year.
I was like...
It took me a minute. I forgot you're 7th grade. But school's almost over, so I got confused.
Yeah.
She's in 7th grade. My mom had a big blue LTD. I'll go you one better. My mother's giant canary yellow LTD, which was ugly as sin. This thing was beat up. It got dented. She drove it till it died. But the most embarrassing thing about this car when it pulled up wasn't the fact that it was 10 years old at one point, wasn't the fact that it was beat up, wasn't the fact that my dad would come out of it wearing his apron from the restaurant on Fish Fry Friday, screaming at me in the thickest Greek accent possible. No, the most embarrassing thing about this car was the horn. Because my father, as a gift from hell, from somebody, was given a horn that replaced the original horn, and it did the Woody Woodpecker sound. Hey, Rebecca, every time he laid on the horn, it would go, na-na-na-na-na, na-na-na-na-na, na, over and over again. And I just remember being in school and everyone's like, whose car is that? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, please, God, just go away. I'm not coming out no matter what. And mortifying. But then everybody figured out it was my dad, and then that was that. Teach her to drive stick instead of automatic. Well, I taught my oldest to drive stick. Sorry, Brian, I can't see them, but if somebody is spamming the stream, come on. All right, Brian. Brian K, if you see somebody spamming, have at it. You are now a moderator as well. We had station wagons, a big family. God, my neighbors had... Has Cleo watched Woody Woodpecker? I don't think you have.
I mean, a little bit of it, but...
Thank you, LA. Yeah, my neighbors, the Parkers, 3 girls. So we were 3 boys that lived right next to 3 girls, and we actually matched up age-wise perfectly. It was really cool. And just we're best friends growing up. And what I felt like, isn't it funny when you think back to your memories? Think back to when you were between 4 and 12, right? 8 years. 8 tiny years out of such a huge life. But if I had to point to 8 of the longest years of my life, it was those 8 years. That was the time that we lived next to the Parkers. And it was only 8 years. But the amount of memories as a child that I have going from 4 years old to preteen to 12 years old, those are probably the longest 8 years of my life. 8 years of ridiculously long summer vacations that went on forever. 8 years of Saturday morning cartoons that went on forever. 8 years, Denise, of Atari games that I learned to play. 8 years of putting my foot in and doing Inca Binka bottle of ink, cap fell off and you do stink, or engine number 9 going down Chicago line, figuring out teams. 8 years of kickball, 8 years of Red Rover. You're on the other side of that now, but think about it. Think about how long those 8 years were. We've been here 9 years. To me, it's a blink that we've lived in Charlotte. How long for you?
Yeah, just
Think
I
about
don't
meeting
even know.
Cora and the Tannises. You've known them, you feel, your entire life.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Those, I guess I never thought of it. As we talk about how fast time goes, those years for me were forever. Sonia says longest years were early 80s into the 90s. Those kind of flew by for me. Good night, Sabrina.
This year flew by.
What time is it for us? I honestly,
10:39.
10:39. Where are you seeing that? Genius. 10:39. Coach your kids' sports. That slows things down. I will tell you, you're not wrong. She was in volleyball and the season went on forever. Tiganis? No, that was my wife popping in. I love teaching in Charlotte. We're just down south of you in Fort Mill. She has her dad's eyes. 8 years of hide and seek and dodgeball. This summer, I'm promising her,
Oh my God.
I want to catch fireflies, lightning bugs. I want dodgeball. I want Red Rover. I want to play hide and seek. This summer, I just want to do
Okay,
all
but
of that.
It's not like we've never played Red Rover.
No, I know we do, but I mean, like there were
Right.
summers where we've done a lot of it, and there's summers where we didn't do a lot of it. I'm going to be traveling a little this summer, but when I'm home, I want to do all of that stuff. I'm working less, so we can. Lawn darts, laser tag, snipe hunting, freeze tag.
Wiffle ball.
I love your content. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Did I ever play road hockey? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Knock
No.
hockey? Knock
No.
hockey. I don't know. We played knee hockey in the basement. I wish my childhood was fun. I wish it was too. It makes me sad to see that. My childhood was awesome. Thank you, Jessica. Any honeysuckle bushes? I don't think so.
No, but I did used to eat those.
I miss running barefoot in the grass and accidentally stepping on frogs in the dark. I still run barefoot in the grass. I was just outside today. I hate wearing shoes.
Ghosts in the graveyard.
Ghost in the Graveyard is my favorite. Ghost in the Graveyard, Nathaniel. For those that don't know, Ghost in the Graveyard is basically the inverse, the reverse, the opposite of hide and go seek. So instead of one person seeking and everyone hiding, if I remember correctly, Ghost in the Graveyard was one person was designated to go out there and hide, and everybody hunted you. I love that game. Did I
Oh my
doorbell
God.
ditch? Absolutely. And Tracy, I think that's part of the biggest problem today is kids can't do that.
No, because in 5th grade, I got in such big trouble. We were doing it
See,
until
now,
9.
who would get you in trouble? I see parents posting because of their damn Ring doorbells, which we have one too. But I'll see on the Nextdoor app that people will post pictures of kids that were ding dong ditching. Get a big deal. Dude, anybody sitting in their living room watching TV these days can put the Ring up on the screen to see who's there. You can look on your phone. You don't even have to be inconvenienced by getting up. But I mean, let the kids play. They can't ding dong ditch because of Ring doorbell. They can't prank phone call except maybe businesses because of caller ID. Give them something. Running through the sprinklers, they do that still. We're a big, the Greek guy, hi. We're a big water balloon family here.
We haven't done it in a long time though.
Last year we did. Yeah.
That was more than.
I
1
think
year
that was
ago.
last year, honey.
No, it was like 2 years ago.
It just came up as a 1 year memory. That was last year. It was.
I don't remember that actually.
My age, I'm 55. She's 13. Capture the Flag, I loved. That was probably my second favorite game. Can't toilet paper houses because it's expensive. Yeah, if a kid only in the richest neighborhoods can you egg a house or toilet paper a house today because it's too expensive to do either of those things. Jeremy, what's elimination tag? Is Mrs. Tinkle there? First name Ivana? I got in trouble for flipping off a Tesla. The owner yelled at me. At your age?